to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. A New York teen recently charged with Grape in his home state now stands accused of stalking a Rampo college student in Bergen County. John Pelson, age 19, was charged with stalking Monday in Wawa's municipal court last week. Then, a week after, an arrest in New York linked him to another incident of a minor. The criminal complaint, signed by Mowa Detective Lieutenant Kevin Herbert, contends Pelson followed a Rampo college student who was in fear of death or bodily injury on the campus. When the student turned around to try to spot Pelson, he hid. During one encounter, the student spoke to her family and saw Pelson pacing in the background. Pelson also tried to follow her into her dorm. The Monroe teen was transferred to Bergen County Jail from the Orange County Jail, where he'd been held on Grape charges filed in Middletown Court. The New York prosecutors accuse Pelson of going after a minor for years, according to local reports. All right, so again, this is why I have stated a multitude of times, and the main example that I've used is Black women, because those are the women of my community of which I know. And I've commonly stated, even with that information, women from other walks of life, ethnicities, religions, what have you, can easily hear what it is that I'm saying and apply it directly to their lives. And the main thing that I've always stated is that, yo, Black women out here need to go out here and get self defense training, right? They need to go out here and get their concealed weapons permit or whatever it is in whatever state that you're located in. And my main hope was that, along with Black women hearing this, other women would basically be like, oh, okay, well, it might not really apply to me in a sense, but I can still take this information. I can still use it and push forward with it, and then give this information to the women of, my community or whatnot or whatever. Because my main thing is that I don't hear the men of other cultures telling their women to go out there and do this. I don't hear that at all. And for whatever reason, that's not a thing, even though I'm pretty sure that a lot of those men of those other communities probably know of someone that has had something happen directly to them by way of a man. But for whatever reason, they're not going to advocate. They're not going to create a platform. They're not going to create social media posts. They're not going to tell women of their community, hey, y'all might want to look into some sort of protection. You might want to look into some sort of defense in order to stave off, a lot of these things that specifically and potentially happen to you. Because this was a young woman here that this happened to. And the main thing that I've always talked about before is the fact that on a lot of these college campuses, this is the type of culture that is allowed to take place. It's allowed to take place because you have girls there that are victims. You got a lot of victims. They're just silent. They're quiet directly on it, right? And on top of the guys that do this commonly, regularly, normally, right? On the college campus of which the deans and everybody else knows that this takes place, but they turn a blind eye directly to it. The hidden thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about is the girls on those campuses that also enable this to happen. Meaning that you got girls on the campus that will also set other girls up so that this can happen. And this is one of the main things that I try to, explain to women that regardless on however you feel about women and you think that, women got the best interest for you and the sisterhood and all this other type of stuff, you have women out here that are diabolical. They will literally side with the perpetrator and have and help them set you up so that things can happen. And then they want to turn around and act like Inspector Gadget, like, oh, it's okay. We're going to find out who did it, whoever did it, yada, yada. They'll be right there next to you, rubbing your shoulders, trying to hold you while you crying, knowing who exactly is the person who did it because they helped that person. But like I said, a lot of people don't want to speak on and talk about a lot of things. And here on this platform, I do my best, no matter how it may come off. I do my best to try to talk about a lot of these subjects. And it just seems that, people just don't want to listen. People don't want to pay attention. The only thing I'm trying to tell people is that, yo, you need to start listening and paying attention before this hits your front door. Because the moment in time that something like this is at your front door, it's beyond too late. And there's nothing that you can do in order to reset time and, have that your daughter or whoever, at a previous time before any of these memories or anything set place. So the main thing that you should do now is enable your daughters or whatever, women or young women you have directly in your family, enable them to be able to defend themselves properly from any and all people who mean her harm. If you're not doing that, then you're not doing your job as a parent.